Good evening, everyone. I will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac? Here. Ms. Renee?
Here.
Mr. Waddell?
Here.
Mr. Kosis?
Here.
Mrs. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Calhoun?
Here.
Mayor Brown?
Here. Notice requirements, chapter 231, public law 1975 is satisfied by publication of said notice in the Asbury Park Press and final copy and the coaster and final copy with the deputy municipal clerk. Everybody please join me in flag salute.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is the meeting of the Mayor and Council for public workshop. We have no communications. We have a presentation from Mr. Ron Dredden, Rio Borough. Is he here?
Yes, sir.
You have the floor.
Councilman Kane's going to join me if it's all right.
Sure. Welcome to the city.
Thank you very much for having us.
Got something to do with that budget.
It's two of my agents.
This has got something to do with that budget.
Thank you for inviting us to be on your agenda this evening. I want to give you a little background about participatory budgeting and how we found it in Freehold and what we've done with it. There's a quote I used when I was selling this idea to the governing body. Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient for tomorrow. That's a quote from William Pollard, Episcopal priest, physicist, and a member of the Manhattan Project team. Besides being a mouthful to say, participatory budgeting has a lot of definitions. I simply view it as a way to engage the public in a positive manner. Why should you engage the public and why this program? The most recent polls I found show Congress has a favorable rating of around 20%. The president ranges from 42 to 46%. State governments are generally a little better at 57%. Local government comes in the highest at 63%, according to Pew Research. However, 63% was failing when I was in school. So I don't think we're doing a good job as far as our image, our favorability, our reputation with the public. Voter apathy. A ground problem in the USA. We rank 25th among all nations in voter participation, percentage of those eligible. And the last two elections, 2008, there was about 58% voted, and in the last one, I think, 2016, rather, it was about 56%. So what do we do about it? Excuse me. PB is a very positive method of engaging the public, involving them in decision-making process, teaching them how government works, and encouraging good voting habits. Simply put, it allows your residents to tell you, the governing body, what their interests are and permitting them to vote for projects they have presented to you. Who do you want to engage? It's up to you. If you're going to educate residents on the importance of voting, we decided 14-year-olds and up could vote. And any resident of the borough could vote. And I'll explain that in a second. New York City allows 11-year-olds to vote. And the idea is to encourage people to get in the habit of voting. These same people can give you project ideas on what they think should be done in the town. You will get to set the parameters, I'll explain. But you get to make the rules. In our town of 12,500 residents, our demographics show we have a Latino population of nearly 42%. Many of our residents are dreamers who were brought to the USA at a very young age. They know the USA is the only country that they've ever lived in. by birth are citizens, although one or more of their parents may be undocumented. The Borough K-8 school is more than 70% Latino students, and nearly all of them are citizens. Our program allows any resident who is 14 or older to be part of the PB process. It's not limited to citizens or eligible voters. We just simply can't ignore 40% of our population and more than 2/3 of our youth. Program in Freehold is operated by volunteers. The core were our members of what we had as an innovation committee. Currently, there are 13 members who manage the program, including 3 high school students. The process is relatively simple. The committee educates and markets the program. They set the time frames for project submissions and voting. There are town hall meetings held. These may include educational marketing events or opportunities for submitters to present their projects to other residents for the vote. I've got a little slide program that I'll leave with you that goes into a little more detail. I don't want to take all of your time this evening, but it's an open and innovative government program. It started in Porto Alegre, Brazil in 1989. It's currently used by 3,000 cities around the world, including the entire nation of Portugal. Designed to engage citizens and promote democratic processes. In Freehold Borough, we established a Citizens Innovation Committee years ago, and the volunteer group was to study borough issues and make recommendations to the governing body. The second project that they worked on was participatory budget. How does it work? Residents decide what projects they want funded. Projects are then vetted by our participatory budgeting committee and our borough professionals. The committee checks the project ideas to see whether they meet our rules and parameters. I'll explain those in a minute. And the residents get to vote on how to spend part of our budget. We permit only capital projects. Those are projects that must be on public property, have at least a 5-year life, have low maintenance, and we're allocating $200,000 to this program as far as the projects themselves and $50,000 in soft costs to get them going. Example of projects that are acceptable are park improvements, traffic safety, library improvements, street lighting, sidewalks. If you see the New York City program, they control housing, schools, and other things, so there's a much broader program. And by the way, their districts in New York City, they have discretionary funds we don't have, so they get $1 million in each district for this program and from their discretionary funds. What's not possible, projects on school or private property. Projects with a lifespan of less than 5 years, funding block party sports teams and those kind of things. Projects that don't have a community benefit. Projects that cost more than our budget. And projects that are not capital projects. Our process is public submits ideas, committee reviews for compliance. Compliant projects are reviewed by our professionals, our purchasing agent, our CFO, if necessary, our attorney, etc. Voting occurs over several days. Election results are announced, and the borough funds the projects. Some projects may require bid, the bid process, contracts, etc. Coordination with county, state, or federal agencies. We've had one of those already. What projects have been public asked us to do in Freehold Borough? Sidewalk repairs, a pedestrian bridge at Lake Calcanimas over the dam for safety reasons, street lighting upgrades, Little League field lights, firehouse roof repairs. The impact on local taxes. Everybody's interested in local taxes, and nobody wants them to go up. This program does not increase our budget, and it doesn't increase the taxes. The real reason for that is capital budgets are not 1-year budgets or 6-month budgets. they're multi-year budgets. So what we do is we commit that $250,000 from the capital budget every year to go to this program so that the public decides that portion of the capital budget. It means maybe that we don't pave half a street or block or whatever, but we think that's worthwhile insofar as the public now has a voice in what is done. Are we giving up control? No. PB has no rules beyond existing purchasing and contracting rules already applicable to any funded project. You have the flexibility to create a program that fits your community. You set who can submit projects. You set who votes and the parameters for the project ideas. So, in a nutshell, that's our program, and we find it's working very well. We have more people attend our town hall meetings on participatory budgeting than we do at our regular town hall, I should say council or governing body meetings. That's unless we make some mistakes and then the room gets filled up, of course. But it's been a very positive thing. We're trying to introduce it into the 8th grade with the help of our superintendent of schools, who's working with us very well on it. We hope to get it into the high schools as well. We won't control those programs, we'll just mentor them on how to do it. So with that, I would like Mr. Payne to have a few comments.
Yeah, thanks for allowing us to speak for a couple minutes tonight. The reason we said we come down and talk to you guys about this. This is the number one civic engagement strategy in the United States today. When you look at the numbers that Ron Griffiths talked about as far as apathy goes, voter turnout, there's a statistic and research indicates that when the public better understands government functions through personal experiences, more people become involved. More people depend and trust the government. I recently finished a master's program at Rutgers and did my capstone project on participatory budgeting with the title of How to Enhance Civic Engagement and Build Public Trust in Government. There's a big movement Ron mentioned. It started in Brazil in 1989. It's been in the United States for 10 years. And during the course of my research, I was able to meet the leaders of participatory budgeting in the United States. A guy by the name of Josh Lerner from the Participatory Budgeting Project is the one that studied it, internationally and brought it to the United States. He went to Chicago. There was an alderman by the name of Joe Moore who wanted to implement this in his ward in Chicago. They did that successfully. And then there's a gentleman, a councilman by the name of Brad Lander in New York City, who brought it to the New York City government to the point now where it's in all the school districts. They just voted it in on a referendum last year to put it into the New York City school system. So statistics show that when people become involved and understand how government works, it makes everything much better, which is why we're really trying to talk to everybody about this and get them to understand. And I'm really excited to announce here tonight that I've been working on this for about 2 years. Josh Lerner and the Participatory Budgeting Project have been working on funding with 2 very large foundations in New Jersey, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the Gerald D. Rockefeller Dodge Foundation. Both of them are very interested in participatory budgeting, but only want to do business in New Jersey. They've secured the funding to allow the Participatory Budgeting Project to launch an educational initiative on how this works throughout the state. And I'm going to leave some of these with you, but this coming Thursday, we are hosting the first one in Freehold Borough. And it's a joint venture between our Participatory Budgeting Committee in Freehold Borough, the New Jersey League of Municipalities, and the Participatory Budgeting Project. We're all coming to Freehold to do an interactive workshop to just explain how participatory budgeting works. Prior to securing the foundation funding, they're a nonprofit. It was kind of pricey to get them to come and talk. Like Ron Griffiths brought it to Freehold Borough just through research himself. And if we would have asked PVP, Participatory Budget Project, to come down, we'd have to pay for them to come down, put them up overnight, and we didn't have the budget for that. So we did it on our own through research and talking, and my connections with them now they have the money, now they're going out and they're doing these educational workshops, interactive workshops, just to teach people how it works. It's totally up to you whether or not you implement it, but statistics and research are showing that through participatory budgeting, you can build stronger communities, foster civic engagement, and ensure that your budget reflects the priorities of your residents. So it's a way to get people to learn how government works and get them involved. And it's a very, very powerful tool. So we just wanted to come down here and share it with you a little bit tonight, and thanks for your time. I have some extra flyers. I'll just leave them on the front here. Okay.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you like,
Sure. If you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, how many years have you been doing this in Freehold Borough?
About a third.
it's on third.
Have you noticed any increase in voter turnout at all from this?
We haven't, 2 data points doesn't give you much to judge a trend by, but we have seen in our program, not in general elections, but in our program, which votes separately, we've seen an increase in the number of projects submitted and the number of people voting on those projects.
Like our town is small, we only have, $20,000 set aside, but, you have $200,000, but, like for instance, a couple years ago, we voted as council members for a new gazebo at the park, which hasn't gotten underway yet. So the public wasn't engaged in that discussion, so this would be a way, like, if they would rather have kayak racks rather than a gazebo, they would vote on that. Is that basically what you're talking about?
Correct.
They would submit their ideas, and they would be vetted properly by both your committee and your professionals to make sure they're feasible, doable, et cetera. And then you would go to an ultimate vote. I recommend the town hall kind of thing where they come in, people who submitted the ideas, and present that to the public to sell the project. That is another form of engagement.
Yeah, we usually have our town hall meeting to launch it, and then the voting runs for a week through the clerk's office. It's handled like a regular municipal vote. The clerk handles it. You can vote in person or online. There's online capabilities with it. But some of the projects lights at our Lily Field, a sidewalk repair program where we do a 50-50 split with the residents for sidewalks. Pedestrian bridge at the lake. One of the issues, people that would fish, there's a dam. So in order to get to the fishing spot, they'd have to go out into the road that comes down off a hill. Of course, it's kind of a blind turn. They're going pretty quick. They have to go out into the road, hop the guardrail into the road, and hop back over. This pedestrian bridge is just going to allow them to just walk over. So it's public. What we found is we don't have the statistics with us, but when people throw out ideas and they're vetted to make sure they're viable capital projects, the ones that were voted on as the winners were public safety issues. So the residents, there's wants and there's needs. When it came down, to a list of what they wanted, they wanted the public safety issues. They wanted to improve public safety, which we thought was pretty good.
So the participatory budgeting, capital budgeting, it's very similar to what we actually do. I mean, there's no project that goes on that we spend money on in Neptune City, including the gazebo, which never came to fruition, but it never came for vote. There was no, it never came to fruition. But that's through Board of Rec, and it's a whole nother situation. But every project we do, from streets, roads, sidewalks, we always include residents. They're notified, we take input, we do advertisement, we do hold hearings. Every bond note that's, every grant that we get and every project we do, they are all offered to the residents. I understand this is just a different way of doing it. And really the biggest way from what I've read all your stuff and everything, it's, you're taking tax dollars and putting it aside first and then deciding how you're gonna spend it later. And the whole purpose of it is to get more people engaged in government. And I get that. I still have to stick to my old school, which I think I've said this before, I don't think it's necessarily a bad theory or a thought. I don't care for the process. I'm just never been in favor of, I've been doing this for a couple years now, and Neptune City's pretty fiscally sound, and I've just never ever remember us taking taxpayer dollars, because I know taxpayer doesn't know how they do, it's tax dollars. So, when you do all the math, and if you know how capital budgeting works, and you pay off and before you put more things on, it doesn't actually increase the budget, but you're still spending dollars. One way or the other, you're still spending tax dollars. So this is basically allocating money ahead of time of tax dollars of all the residents and businesses, and then you go to figure out what you want to spend it on. And I understand the concept is to get people engaged in government. I get the
Well, the idea is you're not figuring it out, residents are figuring it out.
Well, the residents
So
are figuring out.
figuring it out, the residents are figuring it out.
Well, you have a job as a council person too. You are supposed to do a certain thing. And I don't have a problem with the residents being involved. Residents have a say in every penny we spend. Every penny is governed by the spend. The residents have a say in it. They have a say every time there's a bond anticipation note, every time there's a grant, every time there's a project, and then they also get a say in November, if they agree with the way you're spending money. So I don't think that the residents of the town have ever been left out of the say of how money is spent. This is just a different avenue.
Have they ever told you how they want the money spent?
Right, and trust me, I've been sitting here long, I've had plenty of people come here and tell me how they want money spent. In a council meeting.
It's that same capital budget process. All you're doing is just carving out a piece of it and throwing it out to the residents.
You're doing it ahead of time.
You have any ideas that we don't have that you like to see, and let them create ideas, make sure they're viable capital projects, and then have them vote on it. And then when you hit that allocation amount.
No, I understand the whole concept, and, I get that, I just, it's just. How would the committee members choose?
Basically, we first had an innovation committee, which I've gone to the mayor and council and said, look, I'm tired of putting out fires. I'd like to do something that is positive and progressive. And I said, I'd like to engage the public by having an innovation committee, an ad hoc committee. The governing body would decide what subjects they would study, and they would do an in-depth study and come back and make a presentation to mayor and council. The people, we asked for volunteers, and we got about 12 volunteers that were incredible. We have the president of a private school. We had the president of the Board of Education. We had still is people, many of them are still with us. We had a microbiology teacher, professor from Rutgers University. They're all borough residents, and they all had experience with our first subject, which was improving our web page, which was at that point ranked something like 547 probably by the Monmouth University study out of 560 something. So we had area pretty well. We're still working on that, but we selected them based on their saying they wanted to get involved. And we were very fortunate. We got some excellent, incredible people.
And was there
about this, but my, the foundation is involved, and this is a successful program, and it's doing what they wanna do, and now they're starting to put more money into it, or the state gets involved and wants to start, doing the matching grant. And, that's not now, but in my opinion, I could see that happening somewhere down the road.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't want to cut you short. I want to thank you for coming, but because we have a pretty extensive workshop.
Appreciate your
tonight,
time.
We have to
Appreciate
go
your
Very much
over.
for coming, appreciate
Yes,
it.
Thank you so much for that information. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go to new business, Neptune City Facebook page. Mr. Russell?
Yes, Mayor, I'm just gonna kind of connect both one and two together. We're hoping for, well, most likely for July, we'll have a new Facebook page on, with just informational only, topics. It'll just be an extension to our website, so there will be no comments taken on it. It'll just literally be information put on, so we won't be monitoring it 24/7. Sometimes how people do with their Facebook pages. But we'll just be putting stuff on there just to make sure, if you don't go to the website, maybe you're on more of a Facebook, app, that, you'll see our different things, reminders about council meetings, regular borough information here, or stuff that we think that is, borough oriented that need to go on, we'll be putting that on the Facebook page.
And that's informational only. There'll be no
Information only.
Comment and.
Nope, no, nothing like that at all. And in the YouTube channel, we're just gonna be adding that on hopefully in July, adding on to, for our council meetings and different events that are going on, within the borough as well. I thought I would've been faster for Memorial Day, but I'm a little behind. So I missed on that, but we'll have it up for, hopefully for July for the summer, and be using that same thing, and we'll have a channel on the, YouTube site, which then you can go on and catch all the different events we have on. So as that comes on, we will be, we'll be announcing that. And just a quick side note, because I know that was always questions for the public and the mayor and council. If you didn't notice, the signboard is back and operational outside. That was fixed last Thursday after a long time. So we'll start using the sign again for other information that needs to get out to the residents also. The Neptune City grievance procedure, you have a copy in your workshop agenda, and also I have asked to have it put on for regular agenda. This was brought up through an open request that actually has gone viral throughout the state. I looked through our research here, I did not see anything already the borough's already handling, but this is basically a internal process for residents to feel that if the borough is not following the Americans with Disabilities Act, that they have a place to let us know. It would go through myself first as your administrator, and then there is a place on page 2, number 5, that if they did not like, they can appeal my decision for reconsideration, and a committee would have to be, a committee of the council would then review that issue. I took it from another town, we were all sharing and wheeling, so it's 2 members here, but at the will, if the mayor and council feels differently, you can always change that as well. But that is something that I would like to get on and put through to finish up. And I do have a couple grants that have come in, and I just wanted to let you guys know what is on the table right now. We have the 2020 New Jersey Department of Transportation Municipal Aid Grant is coming, and will be application submitted shortly. Also have the 2020 Monmouth County CDBG grant application, and the 2019 Monmouth County Municipal Open Space Grant is also available, which I believe DOT and CDBG, I believe, are for July, and then the, open space is not until September.
And we're only this year.
For CDBG, yes, because it's,
It's every other year
for
you
CDBG,
get.
yes. And I think that's it for me right now. Yes, yes, sir.
And Mayor, I wanted to confirm on Neptune City Day that we're not having it.
There is not a Neptune City Day.
So that leads me to, from a financial perspective, there's a bank account we have no ownership to that is the proceeds of the prior year. Each time Neptune City Day ran, the proceeds from that year was in this account supposedly, and then next year you would use those funds. Since we're no longer having that, we don't have signership over it.
Correct.
Apparently it's Tammy and Garrett. I would like to propose that perhaps they'd like to donate the money to the community center budget or the Board of Rec budget, so it still goes back into the community and for other programs.
When that,
Can I speak about the ownership of the account? The proceeds are distributed amongst the organizations in town. Fire department, CERT, First Aid, Friends of the Library. So all that money was distributed already back in last year. Each organization received $800.
I'm told there's a $900 balance.
Because somebody didn't cash their check.
Oh.
well,
Okay.
And we always kept $100 or so in there in case something else came through.
yeah, there was about 200, there should have been $200 in it, but that, besides the point, that bank account has custodians that are not the borough. And in reality, other than the custodian of that account, I don't know how anybody else would not have access, nor should they have accessed that account or know what the balance is of that account.
Well, I guess the complexity is that it was using our FEIN,
But that's it,
so they allowed the CFO to find the balance out.
but the balance is not the borough's balance. It should not have been shared without permission from the custodian of the account.
But it was, so that's behind us. So I'm just looking, I mean, if we're not gonna proceed with Neptune City Day, we just want those funds to come back to
The
the.
committee will have to review what's in the account, and they've always given everything back to the borough. That was Neptune
Which
City Day
committee is that?
The Neptune City Day Committee.
Okay.
The custodians of that account.
Okay, so when we were going through the budget, we couldn't identify who was.
They were not appointed by the governing body. They were-
No, I didn't assume so, but we'd like to reach out and close the issue, so I'm bringing it up here so we
Yeah.
can connect with those people
You
and close
You
that.
can address me about it. I'm one of the members of the committee. So is Tammy, Garrett. We will sit and talk about it, but we've not gotten any official requests from anybody.
I think that's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I got a lot of chatter, but no official requests.
okay.
Thanks for saying that is what this is.
Yeah, I understand what this is.
Official request.
Since it is the
Because
borough
I talked about it
TIN.
We
with
will.
the CFO, I talked about it with the VA, and now it didn't seem to go anywhere,
And
so I
just so
wanted to
everybody
have-
knows,
during our workshop, have a
the-
discussion.
what they're talking about is the tax ID number. The Neptune City Day Committee, in that account, used the tax ID number because it was directly for the borough, and all funds went back to the borough. There's other accounts in Neptune City that use that tax ID number that are separate private accounts, that this governing body has they have no authority. You can't spend their money, you can't take their money, but and it's very common to use that account, to use a tax ID number for the borough events.
I think we want to look at that practice though, because that was not shared with me as recommended to use our FEIN for other people's bank accounts.
Well, we'll look at that with the CFO and
Yes.
decide whether if it's okay to do that or not.
You'll take that as takeaway?
Yeah.
Why officially are we not having Neptune City Day?
Why officially? Well, Neptune City Day, in actuality, anyone who's actually been involved in Neptune City Day for the past 25, 26 years, it's a lot of work. Neptune City Day has actually probably ended 3-4 years ago, Garrett? Is Garrett here?
Where's Garrett? No.
It probably actually ended about 3-4 years ago. The vendors, the race, the turnout at Neptune City Day has been gradually dropping off, and it happens. Other towns started having their race the same day as we did. We lost some of the racers, you know, other local racers. The vendors can't make money on a Saturday in August. They're not gonna come to Neptune City. You know, they're not gonna come here and lose that day of possibly making $4,000 or $5,000. They come to Neptune City, they spend a 12, 14-hour day, and at the end of the day, they go, Mayor, we made $300. We can't, you know, we can't do this anymore. You know, we can't come down here and spend 12 hours with our staff selling, you know, food or anything. And each year, it gradually got worse. And
We tried different things, trying to
we
do
tried,
half days.
we tried different things, and we tried from clams to having crafts to, and you know, we were starting to get fireworks sponsors instead of just trying, you know, we were trying to get people to sponsor fireworks, because fireworks are very expensive. Those fireworks every year, were right around the tune between around $8,000 just to do fireworks. So basically, we would do the whole day to pay for fireworks and hopefully give donations to the organizations.
And there has been years we weren't able to give
Yeah.
donations to the
And
organization.
the last couple of years, we've had to go out and, you know, talk to some of the local businesses to make very generous donations. I personally, don't really wanna know how much Neptune City Day has cost me over the last couple of years, but I know, you know, we did last year we did a,
Community fund day.
community fun day. And we were able to have fireworks and Neptune City on a pretty good note. So, that's, I think it ran its course. So,
Just wanna close it up.
yeah, it ran its course. It was a great time, 25 years, I think I was doing it, from PTO to last year. There's some great people on there over the years, so. Okay?
I've been hearing from some residents, they would still like to have something, like Neptune City Family Picnic Day or something. Is that something that we can all possibly agree on still having something?
Well, yeah, if you wanna start talking about something, it all comes up in one thing, it all comes to funding. Neptune City Day it was not tax dollars that paid for Neptune City Day, it was fundraising, sponsorships, that's what paid for Neptune City Day, and it takes a lot of volunteers to do it. And, you know, like I said, every year we would reach out and we would ask, we had people that took care of the volunteers, and, you know, each year the volunteer list kept getting shorter and shorter too, you know.
I don't think that we can probably find some more. I found 15 people this year.
Well, Mr. Calhoun, for 25 years, I appreciate you doing it this year, but, you know, I don't really remember seeing anybody
I'm not trying to say
volunteer.
that, you know, in years past that nobody didn't do anything. I appreciate everything that happened in the past. I'm just saying, we have some people now that, and we.
Right, and I understand that.
Sure.
So, I'm gonna address this while we're on, because Neptune City Day, like I said, it was very important to me for a long time. So, I'll be honest with you, I never remember seeing you volunteer, put your name on a volunteer list, but I do know you had a lot of criticism about Neptune City Day and me. So, the fact that you have 15 people now that are ready to volunteer.
I mentioned that you weren't. I volunteered over.
Oh, it's a year?
My wife volunteered over at the school, so I mean, I didn't intend this to be, you know, a toe-to-toe argument about it, but hey.
Well, it's not an argument, it's not an argument, I mean, you know, if you wanna step up now and volunteer, then by all means, do so, that's okay. But don't criticize me for 25 years that I let Neptune City fall.
Don't recall what I did.
Okay. Move forward. Mr. Joseph.
I was looking into solar panels for Borough Hall. The fire department is talking about doing it this year. I had the idea of doing the entire building at once, and I would like maybe the financial committee to meet with the company that the fire department's talking about is when they talked to the fire department, they basically said that, we would produce enough electricity to sell it back to the company, and it would pretty much pay for itself, so it shouldn't really cost us much.
Yeah, solar's great. We, a few years ago, we looked into it, and they did come over and they looked at the municipal building here, fire department, and they also looked at the, pavilion at Adams, at Memorial Park, to possibly make Memorial Park a, like an independent energy source for itself. At that time, the programs that they were offering, it wasn't fiscally responsible, but we'd have to put out a lot of money to, you know, to get that. But maybe now, yeah, let's look forward to it, yeah, look into it.
And, we can get Sustainable Jersey, grant credits for that. And also, I was thinking, because of the fire department, if they go by themselves, they're taking out a loan and you'd have to pay interest. So I figured if the borough can help, they can pay back the borough. It's great.
Yeah, we'd have to check with the CFO on that one. I don't know if we can do that, but that he would be the one to, yeah, get the information and find out if, like you said, if it's fiscally, responsible and, you know, the thing to do, then by all means, 'cause I know they do change different programs, and at the time, they did have, they had some programs out, but actually, they said we didn't have enough roof capacity at the time to, and then they required it, they wanted us to put a new roof on. It was like, 'cause our roof was old, so they wanted us to put a new roof on, and it was like, all right, well, we gotta spend $100,000 on a roof, so we can put solar power on, you know, because they wouldn't put it on, I guess the roof at the time was too old, but, and the fire department's roof isn't that old right now.
Okay, maybe they can all go around just powerful.
Do you have providers who,
Yeah, I'll get the information from Anthony.
So typically the legal process, you do an RFQ for the people to give you the best price. The way it works is called a power purchase agreement.
Okay.
And so you can work many things in the power purchase agreement. It just depends on, you essentially agree on a set price you pay for electricity going forward, which gives you a credit on what you're generating essentially. So the way it all works out is the town typically pays less for electricity. Not necessarily gets money in cash or anything like that.
You just pay less per unit.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I did it in my town, our electric bill was $95,000, and it went down to $33,000. We got it at a time when the program was second to none, back in 2011. That program is no longer available, so you should expect that kind of savings. But your savings at this point in time, I just watched this presentation in a bank, as a matter of fact, so I'll give you a sneak preview. So I usually pay 12.9 cents per kilowatt, or whatever the measurement is. And it goes down to like 8.6 is the market now, so you're looking at a third. Back when we did it 8 years ago, it was more like 2/3, but that was largely government supported, those programs have expired. So it all depends on the market, timing, depends on when the people walk in, depends on what the provider's willing to do. But you can roll, like in Aberdeen, we actually rolled out new roof into the power purchase agreement and paid more. But we were able to do that because the program is so good.
Right.
You know, if it had been 18 months later, then you couldn't do that. So it's a lot about timing.
So
Is the point I wanted to make to you guys.
it sounds like you're volunteering, you know.
That's what I was getting
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't let him out of here. Okay, first aid squad.
First thing is squad. So the process started on 4/8. There was a letter sent from the squad to the borough asking for support, fixing the 3556, which is out of service, and it's still out of service. Had a meeting with the mayor and the captain of first aid, and the VA on 4/16. On 4/25, I reported to council the result of that meeting. And we discussed a couple of things with regards to fixing the unit that we'd already got. Could we possibly look around for a used one? There was talk of one in Lake Como, there was another one in Belmar. And Captain of First Aid and the VA offered to reach out to the surrounding towns to see if there's something that would be affordable. To date, I've not received a formal request for replacement of the unit other than what we've already worked on, which was allocating additional funding in the budget to fix the unit that's already there. The original quote was $10,000. Then there was a subsequent quote for 19. We planned for 10 because we didn't get that one for 19 until a few days before the budget was introduced. So I hear that there's another one, unit available in Belmar for $2,500.
So I do remember the meeting, and Captain, I'll let you speak in a second. Yes, the 35.56, it needs substantial work. And we were still not sure if putting that kind of money into that rig would solve it. You know, it's like, you know, putting new tires on an old car. So, and then I do recall seeing the estimates coming over, but as far as I know, and I've looked through the budget, we did not allocate any money.
Well, I misspoke. So in other words, we put 10, if I'm not mistaken, Councilman,
We have
Put it
been
in there.
told that it would be covered under
Right.
DPW's
That's correct.
vehicle maintenance plan, that there would be sufficient money there to support this from the CFO. So it wasn't a line item, he said it would be covered under that.
I don't ever remember him saying that.
Yeah, he wasn't at that meeting, but the VA was there as well.
So when the budget was finally completed and the numbers came in for 10 at the time, the CFO said that he was comfortable with if that was the will of the council to fix it for $10,000. He did feel there was a substantial amount in vehicle maintenance that he would be fine with moving it from there out instead of changing the ambulance donation line from their original line and adding another $10,000 to it.
I never saw that. I didn't see the new line item for vehicle maintenance. I was never told that.
It was just a
Would be
regular
nice
vehicle
to me.
maintenance line that he was gonna put it into.
It would have been nice to have been told that, but, I don't know that, and I'll let the captain say, I don't know that we wanna spend that kind of money, on fixing a rig that is really not.
Can I speak?
You most certainly can.
Okay, thank you. So actually, yes, we were at the meeting, and during meetings, we did discuss the $10,000, and I was asked to provide to the next, audit, and to get prices for a new rig, because that was what we would project for next year. And you can keep squinting your eyebrows at me, Dave, you were there. So I gave you everything you asked for. I also gave you the estimate in a timely manner for the 20,000. At the budget meeting, we clearly were here, we walked outside, you said it was all taken care of. We stepped outside with the rest of my line officers, and you clearly said the $20,000 is what was agreed during your meeting.
I said that we would agree to fix it. I didn't tell you it was 20,000.
No.
You said the money was
You
in the budget.
absolutely did not say that. You absolutely said the $20,000 was in the budget to fix the rig. So I asked you, when should I expect the money so I can have the rig fixed for $20,000? You said after June 10th. I said, okay, so tomorrow it'll be in the budget. You said yes. When the budget came out, I couldn't find it. I contacted you, you didn't know. I contacted Brian Russell as well, actually on multiple occasions. He said he would reach out to the CFO to find out if that was even doable at that point. He said he would call me back, that I would relate back and forth through him, not through you guys. He didn't respond. I called him 2 more occasions, left voice messages. When I spoke to him after, he said he does not listen to his voice messages. So I have everything that you've asked for me, and I've done everything for you. So I don't know, you can sit and say that you're not receiving it. You never asked me for anything else but what I've given you.
Well, I know I
There's
asked for something.
miscommunication there,
Well, I know I asked for a subsequent meeting on 5/23.
and I told you I was
and
not
you couldn't
available.
make it, and then I asked for another, I said, fine, that's okay.
No, it was the same week,
Captain Pappas.
and don't believe me. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm asking to have a conversation.
We've had multiple conversations, and you're very condescending. I don't need it, and I don't deserve it. I've done what's right, and I've followed through with everything you've asked. So don't sit up here and act as if we have not.
Well, at this point,
We're
I'm really
just trying
asking
to
what you
service
guys
this
need. You
town.
started out asking for $10,000, then you went to 19.
Right, and you
Then you were looking for a
agreed.
new one.
And you agreed. I don't think we should spend the $20,000. I think we need a new rig. I don't even know if the $20,000 will fix this rig.
How do you intend to finance that?
Finance it. I'm
That'll be up
asking
to-
for help from you.
All right, so, Ms. Pappas,
If you're not gonna do it, just say you don't wanna do it. Put your $20,000 to your fish pond. I don't know what else to tell you.
The very first thing.
All right, thank you. They took my gavel away. I don't need a gavel. So, all right, that's gonna be a discussion that we'll have, we'll discuss more later.
Well, I do have a question,
Right.
since tonight is the budget, I mean, that's what the workshop meeting is for, is right, for questions for us to ask each other?
No, that's not what tonight's, not to discuss the budget, it's not one of this items on.
Or the
Workshop.
it's the workshop meeting, it's talking about the ambulance. So the question I have is that, the first aid department is a volunteer organization that we give $8,000 to each year. And they're older rigs, this is the first year in many, many years we've asked for additional, correct? And it just seems like all of a sudden, and I believe that some of the questions that were being asked were, what kind of fundraising are you doing? Has that information been provided, what kind of fundraising?
Well, like I just said, I think this, because you were not privy to those meetings, I think this is a discussion before it gets heated, and we start talking about whether if the first aid is doing enough fundraising, and what, and putting them on the spot. I think this is something that we need to discuss at another time. I don't think their fundraising plan, or whatever their plans are for the first aid squad, have anything to do with this ambulance tonight. I think maybe in the future, we can sit down and talk to the first aid squad and see how the borough can help the squad in the future. And I don't think $20,000 fixing a old rig is gonna solve that problem at this point. I think it needs to be a little bit more discussion. So I would say we move on from the ambulance. Okay.
Are you gonna facilitate that meeting? 'Cause
I will.
understand Mr. Zay definitely recently tried and it wasn't productive, so you'll take that up. Setting up
Well,
the meeting and getting all the parties.
To me, tonight, Councilman Zajac reached out to the squad and was told that no further meetings are necessary.
Right, so we just wanna make sure the conversations continue.
I'll take care of that.
Thank you.
Okay. Next. Economic development.
Economic development discussion has to do with the $40,000 in the budget towards economic development. A lot of it regards the town center that's been in our master plan for 20 years that can possibly happen. We have the money in the budget, we don't have to go out to bond. Some of the misconceptions that I've heard is that we hired a bond attorney, that we retained a bond attorney, which we haven't. We appointed one, which most towns do, but we haven't hired anybody at all. And what it is that to help the current owners with a plan that can go out to investors and developers so that they can sell their place more quickly. And it doesn't only have to do with the one location, the 3rd and 35, it's the whole area there. That there are some other properties for sale also that are blighted, so that are for sale as well. So it's a plan. It's a plan that we can move forward on for a town center that has been requested in our master plan for the past 20 years. We are finally taking steps towards. We don't have to raise taxes for it. We don't have to go out to bond for it. We don't have to get a loan for any of this. It's in our budget. I mean, hopefully we will adopt tonight. We have a vote for it, but basically it's just a plan. It's just a plan. And once the plan is there, then it can go out to investors and developers to look at and say, wow, Neptune City is a great place. Look how close it is to the ocean, look at the river. It's a wonderful place to be. And, yeah, we would like to develop there. So it's basically to help our town, help the current owners, so that we can move forward in a positive direction. So does anybody have any questions about that?
Well, here's what I look at. Most people who are in the business of redeveloping territories, I imagine, don't need to be told where the areas that are good places to redevelop is. Redevelopments that we've done in the past, I've not really been much of a problem here. I can't even attend the redevelopment plan here, but I do know a little bit here that normally, in a redevelopment plan, the developers pay for these fees. and I imagine most redevelopment companies, even multi-million-dollar companies, they probably have planners on retainer, they probably have their own. To me, just because it's not changing like the tax rate or something like that, it's still $40,000 that we didn't spend last year is what you're talking to do. To me, you're spending $40,000, it's almost more like a gamble, the way I kind of see it. You're hoping that by creating this, hiring a planner who comes up with a plan, that this would entice people to come in here. And yet, that's not usually the way it's done here. It's kind of backwards. Usually you entice, have a developer might come in and see that property, and then, they would develop it themselves. I argue even if you do find somebody, they're probably gonna wanna use their own planner instead of one that we hired instead. I reached out to a few people who work in this field, because that's normally how it works. It's not the town has a redevelopment plan, they present to us, it's usually we develop a redevelopment plan in coordination with the town. They have their say on it. I also will reiterate the fact, we are talking primarily on private property here in Neptune City, that an area that's not been deemed an area of redevelopment as of yet. So I think, again, and I've used this phrase a few times here, I find a little bit putting the cart before the horse here. We already had an additional $4,000 line item with the planner this year to come and give us his opinion on whether or not to lift the deed restriction. And even though, what he wrote was quite wordy, and when he came and spoke to us, he was very long-winded. At the end of it, I got the idea that the deed restriction, no matter what, would have to be lifted at some point here, right? And so, there are steps I think we need to take first here. And actually, we as a governing body, before we decide to spend $40,000 of taxpayer money that we did not spend in previous years to hire a planner to come and do this. It's something we've never done before. I'm not saying just because it's something we've never done before that's the wrong thing to do. I just particularly think that this is an expenditure that's unnecessary at this time, because then we haven't really done any research of any kind. It's like, let's give somebody $40,000 and see what happens.
I think part of the issue is that some of these properties have been vacant for a long time, especially at 3rd and 35, Old Nurse's Cole, and just that little area. Some of these places, and we don't have the developers come.
Well, we actually do. We've had multiple developers come.
Yeah.
The problem is, they are very challenging sites, and the developers, it's just not what they want. It's,
Exactly.
property is very expensive. Redevelopment's very expensive. 3rd and Union, they're probably pretty close to being, bankrupt. They are vacant. We've had multiple developers in there to look at it, and to be honest, not one single developer, and we didn't have to hire them but the owners and other owners that are very familiar with redevelopers that would buy that property if doing something like that was feasible. So we just haven't had anybody come in that is really, and I know that guy who owns the property next door said if that was feasible for him to do, he would have bought the property and redeveloped it.
I think part of the
Can I
issue
just
is
jump
that
in
you're
for a
just
second?
talking about the one property, but there are multiple properties in around that area.
Can I just jump in for a second? You guys are all talking about two very different things. So, and Councilman and Mayor, you guys are talking about site-specific projects.
Mhm.
And you're 100% correct. Your developer ordinarily pays for the planning and all the professional fees for that kind of project. But what you're talking about is really redevelopment area.
Yes.
Different than, you guys are really talking about a plan, you guys are talking about next step. So, there's two different ways it happens. So, long story short, let's say you have property, it has a particularized zoning on it. Someone comes to you with a project for that zoning, or requests a variance, or wants to go into land use boards and things like that. You're 100% correct, they pay for all of that. Now, let's step above that to the zoning, whether the zoning is appropriate for the area. What you're saying is that there's blighted buildings in the area, and therefore the zoning may not be appropriate in that market. So you're talking about the market, the overall zoning there. That would require the town to put in an upfront investment, a study, essentially, it's not really a plan. You guys are mixing words, that's why you're talking about different things to each other. A plan comes next, it's down the road, the developer could potentially, if you designate one, pay for that. The area, the study to determine whether an area falls within an area in need of redevelopment, before you get to that step, there's no one to pay for that because you don't have a developer yet. You're just studying the area. So I believe that's what you're talking about, and you guys are talking about something different. So I just want to put that out there that it's two different things. So whether it's a wise expenditure or not is up to you guys. That's not much, but it's two different things that we're talking about. So you guys can talk all night if you talk about two different things. I just want to
I understand. I understand.
So I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump in and make sure we're all on the same page.
And unfortunately, I'm going to bring the workshop to an end because we have 7 o'clock scheduled meeting. And we will move the rest of the workshop to the next scheduled workshop meeting. I need a motion to,
Please don't do that.
well, so let's, okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. Let's make a motion to adjourn. Okay? Need a motion to adjourn. We can make this happen.
I'll offer that.
Offer motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Okay, the public workshop is closed. I'm gonna start the regular scheduled council meeting, and then I would need somebody to make an amendment to discuss item, that's okay, right? We'll do it that way?
Could we move the discussions of seven overlooking the acting clerk for executive session? They're actually more appropriate. for
Yep,
executive.
that would be fine. We can do that.
And that would be everything we would need to discuss
Okay,
now.
so all right, but then I'll turn that back on. We're gonna start, we'll get into the next meeting. I know we can just.
Correct. The acting clerk and the seven overlooking.
They were on the workshop.
Call the meeting to order. This is going to be the regular meeting of the mayor and council, June 10th. It is 7:04. Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac? Mr. Renee?
Here.
Mr. Wardell?
Yeah.
Mr. Kosis?
Here.
Mrs. Lewis? Mr. Calhoun?
Here.
Mayor Brown?
Here. And the requirements of chapter 231, public law 1975, been satisfied by a publication of said notice, the Asbury Park Press and Poster, and by filing a copy of the deputy municipal clerk. Because I love it so much, I'm gonna ask everybody to please join me in another flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, can I make a motion for us to go into executive session?
Motion to go in executive session for,
Two topics. One would be a discussion on 7 Overbrook Place Riveter Clause, and the other would be for a discussion for the borough clerk position.
personnel,
For
okay.
action,
Offered
may or may
by,
not be taken after we come back.
offered by Mr. May, second by Ms. Lewis. All in favor?